Hi, friends. My name is Morgan Balavaj. I have a brand called Splendid Yoga. And within the umbrella of that brand, I work as a healer, a yoga teacher, and I also work as a business coach for other healers. And I'm here today to talk to you guys more about the business coaching side of things. This is my Splendid Money Management Diversify Your Income Streams webinar masterclass about all the ways that you can build wealth by building different ways of allowing money to come to you. So I put together a whole slideshow. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you guys can see it. So a little bit of background, actually, before I do that. I'm down here in Mexico, which is why I'm recording this ahead of time instead of doing this webinar live, because the view is beautiful down here in Mexico and the Wi-Fi sucks. So the person who put this together kindly let me record this ahead of time. So I'll be tuning in live with you guys when you watch it, when you do your little watch party, so I can respond in the chat to any questions that may come up. Okay, so now let me get into my shared screen. Can you see it? Here it is in Canva. Present. Here we go. Okay, so Splendid Yoga, that's me, presents Splendid Money Management. Diversify your income streams, exclamation point, because this is a demand. I'm insisting upon it. Welcome to Manage Your Money Yogically. That is one of the catchphrases within my brand. It's also the name of my Facebook group. Today, we're going to talk about me. Hi, I'm Morgan. I'll tell you why you need multiple streams of income. We're going to go through a little bit of personal finance savvy, no big deal. I'm going to teach you about passive income on the fly, and I'm going to go through my funnel cake method. I call it funnel cake because I really like funnel cake. Hi, I'm Morgan. I love passive income because passive income means that you can retire early. I've been building passive income streams since I was 12 years old. Okay, so the difference between a passive income stream and an active income stream is how much activity you have to put into it. So for example, showing up for a job, that's an active income stream. You're trading your time for money. You have to be there to do that work. As opposed to a passive income stream, like you wrote a book and then you sold it, you've already done the work and now you're just reaping the royalties. So I'm interested in passive income streams where I can kind of like time travel and be in multiple places at once because we only have 24 hours in a day and I like to relax for most of those. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to make any money because I also like to travel the world. Case in point, coming here to Mexico for 3 months just to get away from COVID. So I say since I was 12 years old, that's when I first started working for America Online, AOL. You youngins may not know what I'm talking about, but some of you do. Some of you remember the floppy disk you used to get, the free 300 minutes, how you would change your AIM name, your instant messenger name every time to like take advantage of the new account. I used to work for them. I moderated their kids' chat rooms. Yes, when I was 12 years old, that led to a book deal. And that led to me getting a scholarship to go to boarding school across the nation. I went to boarding school on the East Coast. I grew up in California and I've been traveling the world ever since, just figuring out how to make money as I go. So let me tell you why you need multiple income streams, right? Okay, so the average millionaire, you may have heard this before, the average millionaire has 7 income streams. I just was looking at my P&L for last year. I had like 25 different income streams, but the average millionaire has 7, all right? So one of them is earned income. So that would be like your 9 to 5, your job, your trading time for money. One of them is profit income. So for example, I have a retail component to my business. I have a shop on my website and I make a profit off of anything that I sell. Interest income. So that would be, making interest off of like a certificate of deposit or, like a savings account. You have dividend income. So there are stocks that pay dividends. That when if you own a lot of that stock and you get a dividend for each stock, then that's, a significant chunk of change. We also have rental income. So I am in that category. I own a condo in Santa Barbara, California, which I am currently renting out. It's partially how I'm funding my Mexico adventures. You have capital gains as a source of income. So that's where you own an asset that appreciates. So if I were to sell my condo that I bought for under $500,000, if I sold it for $1 million, then I would have capital gains of $500,000. Which is, that would be great if I doubled my money on that investment. And then there's royalty income. So that's when you're getting royalty on something you created. For example, Bob Dylan just sold his entire catalog for $300 million, which means that he was probably getting paid, several $100 million in royalty income. And now whoever bought it, the hedge fund, the venture company, whoever purchased that catalog is now receiving those royalties. So these are all the ways that the average millionaire makes income. So royalty income, capital gains, rental income, these are all mostly passive. Rental income, unless you hire a manager, there's going to be a little bit of effort there in terms of getting a good tenant in and, making sure you get a plumber in when things go sideways. But like dividend income, interest income, all that stuff is totally passive. The money just shows up in your account. You don't even have to blink. It just happens. Okay, so that is why you need multiple streams of income. And these are the traditional streams of income. Now I'm going to go into personal finance for people who don't care about personal finance. So I told you guys that I am a business coach for healers. The reason I became a business coach for healers is because as a yoga teacher, I figured out how to sell premium services. I became a private yoga instructor and I got paid a lot of money to help people feel good in their bodies, to help them heal. And the other yoga teachers in my world weren't getting paid very much money, and they kept having to move out of Santa Barbara because they couldn't afford to stay there. So I decided to teach them how to build a business, how to, create value out of themselves, how to market themselves, but how to really change their mindset around money. And one thing I learned from them is that they really just don't care about personal finance. So this is just a really simple breakdown for people who don't care about personal finance. I stole this from the internet. This is Aptus's simplified waterfall of tax efficient investing. Oh, I've never said anything sexier than those words. Okay, so we start up here in the corner. You've got your 401k match, which is free money. So if you work for a company that has a 401k, that's a type of retirement account. It means that when you put in money, they put in money too. Now, the industry standard is that they'll put in a 50% match up to 6% of your income. And what that means is if you put in $1, they'll put in 50 cents. And if you make $100,000 a year, then up to 6% of that, $6,000 is that how much you can put in, and $3,000 is how much they'll pay. I think that math works. I'm not. I have dyscalculia, so usually I use a calculator for these sorts of things, but you get the general point. You get free money, so that's where you want to start putting your money, saving your money. So ideally, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have access to a 401k, you're just having them automatically siphon that money out and put it into that account where you're investing it in things like mutual funds or index funds. Next up, you want to pay down your high interest debt. So anything over 10%, that would usually be like a credit card. From there, you want to go into your HSA, that's your health savings account, for triple tax benefits. Okay, so still shaving pennies off of your tax impact. From there, you're going to max out your 401k. So each year, you can max out, for example, over here, the year that this was made, the 401k limits, if you were under 50 years old, you could put in $18,000. Now, the reason this bucket is different from this first bucket is because your company isn't going to match you up to $18,000. So there's no free money there. So that's why you'd want to pay down your high interest debt and go into the tax benefits of the HSA. But you do get tax deferment, which means you're not going to pay as many taxes on it if you max out your 401k. So that's the next bucket we want to fill. From there, we want to go into the Roth or the backdoor Roth. It's a type of individual retirement account for tax diversification. This gives you the option, just in case you make more or less money once you're actually pulling money out of these accounts, once you're over that age, where you can do it without any sort of penalties or tax impacts. This is going to give you a little bit of diversification just in case you end up getting slammed in penalties because you made way more money later on in your life, or because you made way more money early in your life and you end up making way less later on. which is pretty rare. The next bucket is your taxable account, where you can defer capital gains. So that's investing in things that like mutual funds, index funds, individual stocks, the same type of things you might invest in a 401k, except that you're doing it in an account that you can pull the money out at any point and then get taxed there. Now, to defer capital gains, what that means is you're going to if you hold on to the stock for a long enough period of time, you won't have to pay a tax on top of the taxes for making income, for making money. From there, you want to pay down your low interest debt under 5%. This would be like your car loan. Your mortgage is probably under 5% at this point in time when I'm filming this. Okay, so, and then this gives you the breakdown for, these change every year, but this gives you the breakdown for your HSA limits, your 401k limits, and your IRA limits. So this is just very basic how to save, how to personal finance. You don't have to get any more complicated than that in terms of what you put extra money. Once you have extra money, but most people don't have extra money. So let's talk about how to make that happen, how to make passive income on the fly. Okay, so here is the strategy. We have a long-term strategy up here. We have a medium-term strategy. We have our short-term strategy. So the long-term strategy, 1 to 5 years, or even like up to 30 years, depending on how long you have to retirement, you invest in things like index funds. That means you're investing in the entire stock market, essentially. It's a very conservative way to invest your money. From there, you can look at affiliate marketing. So this is a great way to make passive income, but it takes a while to build up an audience that you can actually sell your affiliate stuff to. So to get started, I recommend building affiliate relationships for stuff that you would recommend anyway. Like, for example, I use yoga tune-up balls for a lot of my clients as a yoga teacher. I recommend them. I like them. I've used them for years, and I was recommending them enough that I eventually just started buying them wholesale. I had a resale license through my business, which you need in California. And I ordered them wholesale so I could get a price break on them. I get them for, I think, about 50% off. And then I sell them, and then I make that 50% margin, give or take, depending on if I'm shipping it or not. So, we're not talking about huge amounts of money here, but, if I sell 10 a month, and that's an extra, I can't remember exactly what the numbers are. Again, I usually use a calculator for these things, but let's say the margins are 15 bucks a pop. So that's 150 bucks right there. All right, I'm not going to sneeze at that for very little effort. Okay. So stuff you would recommend anyway, right? Don't sell stuff that you wouldn't actually recommend. And on that note, beware the Insta collab. And I'm referring to Instagram. I see this on comments a lot where someone will be like, collab, ? DM us. And then what they're offering me is a discount on their overpriced clothing or products in exchange for posting about their clothing or products. So they're looking for free publicity. In fact, they're looking for me to pay them for publicity because they often aren't giving any product away for free. And then I can give a discount code to my followers. And sometimes they'll say like they'll give me a kickback. Sometimes it's just like, and you get the discount code, and it's all bullshit. All right. Don't get involved with anyone who's like collab on Instagram, because that is not stuff that you would recommend anyway. All right. Amazon, they have a great affiliate marketing program. Of course, we're constantly recommending things to each other that you can find on Amazon. It takes a little while to get an Amazon affiliate account set up. You have to have a little bit of infrastructure, like a website, a blog, some sort of following to prove that it's like worth their effort to get you in their system. But it can be the sort of thing where it really takes off. Like if you have a blog reviewing a pair of, leggings, and everyone starts buying those leggings through that website because you're the number one Google match for best yoga leggings, then you can make a pretty penny off of things like Amazon affiliate links. Basically anything that you use has an affiliate relationship. So you can just Google a lot of people love like Old Navy leggings. Just Google like Old Navy affiliate, see what affiliate network they're set up with, and then apply to be a part of that network. You can make anywhere from, sometimes it's like, 1%, but sometimes it's pretty significant, like 30% margins on stuff that you would recommend anyway. which leads me to my ambassador program, the Splendid Yoga Ambassadors, people who sell my retail items like my CBD and my adaptogen blend. I give them a 50% margin. People who send me clients, I give them bonuses, like anyone who signs up for my small group coaching or for my one-on-one, I give between $100 to $500, depending on what type of package they buy from me. So it can get pretty significant. Anyone who you send to one of my courses, I pay you 50% of whatever they pay for the course. And I have some courses that range from, $108 up to, $700. So it can be, if I'm paying you 50% margin, you're making $350. Like, you can make a pretty penny just, recommending something you would recommend anyway. So if you're watching this and you would like to be involved in that, shoot me a DM or email me at hi@splendid.yoga and I'll get you set up. Okay, so these are all things that take time, like 1 to 5 years to really develop the infrastructure to be able to support something like that. The index funds are just because you're going to hold on to those for a long time. Medium term, 6 to 12 months. This is where we're getting into things like cryptocurrency. I'm talking about Bitcoin. Don't invest in anything you don't understand. That's my caveat. I'm not here to sell you anything on cryptocurrency. I researched it for literally a decade before I bought my first Bitcoin. I have made so much money off of cryptocurrency. It's how I'm affording to move to Marina Del Rey, to have a marina apartment with a view of the ocean, and I'm buying all brand new furnishings thanks to Bitcoin exploding above $30,000. So I use Coinbase to trade cryptocurrency. It is fairly, I'm a holder. I hold for a long time. So I'm like just now selling stuff I bought like 3 years ago, and I saw a very significant increase. So once again, I researched it for a very long time before I was comfortable buying into cryptocurrency. I recommend the same for you. Medium term passive income strategy number 2, evergreen online courses. So this would be somewhere where you're teaching something that you're something of an expert in. For me, for example, I have yoga evergreen online courses, I have marketing evergreen online courses, and I have meditation evergreen online courses. So I do them live once a year, and then the rest of the time, anyone can sign up for them at any point. But the reason it's medium term is it takes that long to market research, to build an audience, and to actually create the entire evergreen course. Please, if you're thinking of going this route, sell it before you build it, okay? It is so important to do a few beta rounds. The first one should always be live before you start putting any slideshows together, okay? Because you don't know what people are gonna need until you sit down and do one round. And you can do that beta round for free for friends, or I charge a nominal amount so that people feel like they've invested enough to actually do the work. If you're curious about building evergreen online courses, I help people do this in my one-on-one work. So reach out to me if you would like some assistance with that. The short term for building passive income so that you can actually start making money like tomorrow or within the next 1 to 6 months. You're going to buy individual stocks. I recommend buying stocks and things that you use every single day. And you can't control the market and you don't want to buy something you don't understand. So do some research, buy a book. Go read one of my favorite websites. I Will Teach You to Be Rich or GetRichSlowly.org are both fonts of information about investing in things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index funds. We just don't have enough time to dig into it completely today. The next thing that's going to be the short-term passive income is a donation-based content farm. So I'm talking about something like a Patreon, something like OnlyFans, or my personal favorite Insight Timer, where I keep a bunch of meditations and people can donate to me. And I've started actually doing live events on Insight Timer, and I've really seen it blown up. So for anyone who's watching this, who's in the healing world, definitely look into the Insight Timer, teaching through Insight Timer. It's been a great resource for me. OnlyFans, okay, now you may have giggled a little bit because that's mostly known as sex work, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there are actually quite a few like fitness professionals getting into it. And I've heard there's a little bit of a debate amongst the sex worker world who are like, don't infiltrate our moneymaker, which is why I'm putting Patreon first here as kind of like the major source for donation-based content farms. So here's the thing though, like these aren't purely passive income, right? Like I'm putting work every week into my Insight Timer in order to, do live events to get people to follow me, in order to record the meditations. So it's something that you can build up pretty quickly. And then, maybe you have one meditation that really takes off. I had one end up on the front page and thousands of people listened to it. And so that got me a nice little bump in my income for that month from Insight Timer that I wasn't expecting. But all passive income starts off as active income. You have to do the work at some point. So you better make sure that it's work that you enjoy doing. Okay, now let's get into the funnel cake method. So this is, once again, I called it the funnel cake method. This is just a basic marketing funnel, but I like funnel cake, so I'm using that phrasing. So this is my basic funnel to one of my lowest cost offerings, if not the lowest cost offering, Splendid Yoga Online. That's my yoga subscription service where I keep all of my yoga videos. It's $13.99 per month, or I teach it through UCSB and the students pay $10 for the entire 10-week course. So this is how I advertise to get people to actually go to Splendid Yoga Online. I use my Instagram, I use my Facebook page. My Instagram posts directly to my Facebook page, so that's not too much extra effort. I have my UCSB students, and then I have a live series that I teach on Zoom called Yoga for Yoga Teachers, which you can get for $47. That also gets you access to Splendid Yoga Online, but you get the live classes. Okay, so from here, like Instagram is also what I'm using for Yoga Teachers to market that. From here, I'm selling one of my meditation courses, the Mindful Productivity Project. So that's $108. And I'm trying to get people to go from Splendid Yoga Online to investing more in their meditation, because that's kind of where every yoga practice needs to lead, is to a stiller meditation. But my bigger ticket item that I'm ultimately funneling people to is my private yoga teacher training, a 6-month program that I charge $6,000 a month for. It's something that I take one client a year. That person comes to me just, through happenstance. It's a really beautiful relationship. And so I don't have a ton of funnels going into this one because I just don't have the space to work with that many people. Most of the people hover around this zone. Most of the people end up in Yoga for Yoga Teachers or in the Mindful Productivity Project. That's why it's a funnel. It gets smaller at the bottom. Okay, this next funnel is way crazier. It took me a while to put this together. I'm still not super happy with it, but you'll kind of get the point. This is basically my business plan for Q1 2021 for the next 3 months. So I have started small group coaching called the Splendid Money Mastermind. It's $797 a month. This is my mid-tier ticket item. And this is my funnel to get people excited about and interested in my mastermind, which is business coaching for healers and creators, based around how to build passive and active income streams doing work that you love that actually helps save the world. So I do summits and Facebook Live, similar to what I'm doing here, that feeds my email list, all right? And then I'm also posting a lot of stuff on YouTube. I'm posting stuff on LinkedIn, trying to get them to get to my email list. I have my podcast that I send out a few times a week. I'm sending people from LinkedIn to my podcast. That's where I advertise things like the Splendid Money Mastermind and my VIP days. I also get a little bit of passive income here because every time someone listens to it, Anchor pays me a little bit of money because I put up a sponsored ad. So I've made, a good chunk of change last year from the thousands of people who joined me for my podcast. I'm inviting people from the podcast to get on my email list. Okay. And then we have my Instagram. So the two arrows are like going back and forth. Like I'm sending people to my Instagram from my email list, and I'm sending people from my email list to my Instagram. I'm also trying to get people to go to my blog, to get to my website. I have a ton of content on there. I advertise that on Instagram. I also advertise that on Pinterest, which send people to my blog at splendid.yoga. And then I'm trying to get people from the Facebook group. So these are my 3 primary zones of where people are finding me and where I can really communicate with them. So the email list is kind of my direct source to people who are going to be really excited to pay me, almost $1,000 to get into my program. The blog is where I keep all my resources, all my content. I publish almost one blog a day related to wellness, related to business coaching. And then my Facebook group, which is over 1,000 people now, and which I'm constantly growing, is also where I get kind of the bulk of my clients, because it's where I've funneled people to where they're actually interested, and all the work they're doing is relevant to the work I'm doing. Okay, so from here, I'm trying to get people into a freebie in order to get them onto my email list. So right now I'm offering the Ground and Grow Masterclass. It's totally free. It's going to be a 90-minute masterclass on how to use your Ayurvedic dosha to make money. Because that's another thing I've noticed as a business coach for healers is the people who are like the type A personality need much different advice from the people who are like the head in the clouds personality versus like the really grounded people. So I have devised this masterclass lecture on how to manage that depending on what your dominant personality type is. And from there, I'm going to use that to feed into the Splendid Money Mastermind, where I actually divide people up into pods based on their Ayurvedic dosha. So once people are comfortable spending, this amount of money with me, I have a few other ways that they can work with me. We can do one of my VIP days where we spend a concentrated amount of time. I have two different VIP days. The most popular one is my business boot camp, where for people who are either just getting started or people who are pivoting their business, we spend an entire day fixing your marketing, essentially either getting a website started or redesigning your website and your branding in order to make it clear what you're selling, what problem you're solving, and how much you're charging for it. I also have my signature course, the Money Manifestation Academy, which I charge $540 for anyone who's buying it ad hoc, but I end up including it in anyone who signs up for any of my programs. People who are in the Splendid Money Mastermind get it as part of their payment. People who do VIP days get it as part of their payment. And of course, people who do the one-on-one coaching with me get it as a bonus. And the reason is because this is my Marketing 101 course, and this is kind of like, this is the information I need for everyone to have before I start working with them so that we can be really efficient about the time that we have together. I also have a waiting list for most of my programs. So it means that people can sign up with me and have something to do while they're waiting to work with me, either through the VIP days or through the one-on-one coaching. So you can see I have several different price points that I work with. And this is the only one that is purely passive. The money that comes in right now for that, I don't put any more work into that, which is great. I advertise it on the podcast. I advertise it in my Insta. I send it out to my email list a few times a year. I talk about it in my Facebook group. But mostly what I do is I sell it through the DMs. And that is a little bit more active. And it's something that I'm actually looking to make passive. I'm going to be hiring that out to lead generators this year, in order to focus my energies more on creating value instead of finding people to take advantage of that value. But this gives you an idea of how complicated funnels can be. Whereas we go back to this one, they don't have to be that complicated, right? Like this is like 4 years of work with an ADD entrepreneur who likes to do a lot of different things in my day. So this is why it's so complicated. Okay. So that kind of brings me towards the end here of my presentation about how to diversify your income streams. Hopefully that gave you some ideas. Obviously, saving for things like stocks, index funds, mutual funds, and things like cryptocurrency, things where you're going to get capital gains, like, even buying art can be a way of getting, an investment, buying original art from talented artists, buying horses. Some people invest in animals. I'm vegan, so I don't agree with that. But there are lots of ideas, lots of ways to develop multiple income streams, but you have to have patience with all of them, right? And they're all going to require some work at some point in time. So you've got to make sure that it is work that you really want to do. So if you need some ideas on how you can create some passive income streams, some active income streams, multiple income streams, you're welcome to join me on Facebook. Manage Your Money Yogically is the name of my Facebook group. You can find me on there by searching for that. That's also the name of my podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify is the Manage Your Money Yogically podcast. I have a ton of resources on there. All that stuff is on my website also, which is splendid.yoga, not .com, .yoga. And then my Instagram, I love it when people follow me on the gram. You can find me there at splendid.yoga. And then once again, I've got my free Ground and Grow Masterclass coming up on January 11th. Oh my goodness, that's next week. We're here in 2021. It's going to be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you'll get the recording. And you just have to join my email list to get the invite. So I believe that we're going to put that link on my page for the summit, but as we're watching this, I will put it in the comments as well. And I believe that's all I have for you, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little while, chatting about all the different ways that we can make money in this world because well, my real mission here is destroying patriarchal capitalism. And the only way to do that is by taking the money back. So, money is power in this world, and you have to let it flow through you to a greater purpose, right? And that's how you really open up kind of the mindset energy channels to receiving those large amounts of money. Like, imagine just waking up in the morning and seeing like, oh, 2,300 bucks just fell into my account. That's what happened to me yesterday morning when someone paid my mortgage. It was so great. It's the best feeling. I hope you get to experience that really soon. And I'd love to help you with it. Once again, my name is Morgan. My brand is Splendid Yoga. Come find me on the internets and I'll see you guys around. Bye.